You're standing in line at checkout. Your cart has milk, eggs, bread, the essentials. But somehow there's also a scented candle you grabbed on impulse, a gadget you saw on TikTok last week, and those cute socks with little avocados on them. You didn't come here for any of that. Yet here you are, wallet open, wondering how this happened. Again. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Last month, you probably spent more on things you didn't need than you'd like to admit. That extra streaming service you forgot to cancel? Still charging you. Those shoes that looked amazing online but hurt your feet? Sitting in your closet with the tag still on? The limited edition mug collection? Taking up space you don't have. And the worst part? You're not even sure why you bought half of it. My name's Jack, and if you're feeling a little called out right now, good, because I've been exactly where you are. I've clicked Add to Cart at 2 a.m., convinced I needed a smart water bottle that tracks hydration. I've walked into Target for toothpaste and walked out $80 poorer with stuff I can't even remember buying. I've felt that weird mix of excitement and guilt when the delivery notification pops up. But here's what changed everything for me. I started asking one simple question. Why? Why do I buy things I don't actually need? Why does my brain tell me I'll be happier with more stuff when I know, deep down, that happiness fades before the credit card bill even arrives? And most importantly, how do I stop this cycle without feeling like I'm depriving myself of everything fun? That's exactly what we're diving into today. Not some boring lecture about budgeting or a guilt trip about your spending habits. This is about understanding the psychology behind why we do this, recognizing the invisible forces that manipulate our wallets, and learning practical strategies to take back control without giving up the things that actually bring you joy. By the end of this video, you'll understand why that perfect purchase loses its magic so quickly, how to spot the psychological tricks companies use against you, and most importantly, how to spend intentionally instead of impulsively. You'll still buy things. You'll still treat yourself. But you'll do it consciously, not because some algorithm decided you should. So let's pull back the curtain on this whole thing. Trust me, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's when real freedom begins. Let's get scientific for a second, but in a way that actually makes sense. Let's get scientific for a second, but in a way that actually makes sense, not in a boring textbook way. Your brain has a chemical called dopamine. You've probably heard of it. It's that feel-good neurotransmitter that fires off when something rewarding happens. Chocolate? Dopamine. Finishing a level in your favorite game? Dopamine. Someone liking your Instagram post? You guessed it. Dopamine. And here's the kicker. Buying something new triggers that exact same response. Think about it. That moment when you click purchase or swipe your card, there's a tiny rush of excitement, right? Your brain lights up like a Christmas tree. For just a few seconds, you feel good. You feel like you've accomplished something, like you've treated yourself. Like life just got a little better. But here's what your brain doesn't tell you. That feeling is temporary. It fades. Sometimes within minutes, sometimes by the time the package arrives and you realize you don't even want it anymore. This is called the hedonic treadmill, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You're constantly chasing the next high, the next purchase, the next dopamine hit, but you never actually get anywhere. You just keep running. Let me give you a real example. My friend Sarah, super practical person, great with money, went to the grocery store for the basics. But as she was walking through, she passed this display of kitchen gadgets. You know the type. Those as seen on TV things that promise to revolutionize your cooking. She picked up an avocado slicer. Now, Sarah doesn't even eat avocados regularly. But in that moment, holding it in her hand, her brain painted this picture. Perfect avocado toast every morning, Instagram-worthy brunches, becoming that person who has their life together. She bought it. It sat in her drawer, unopened, for 3 months. That's your brain on dopamine. It's not rational, it's emotional, impulsive, and easily manipulated. And retailers, they know this better than you do. Think about how stores are designed. Bright colors everywhere. Limited time offer signs in red. Your brain sees red and thinks urgency, danger, importance. Only 3 left in stock tags that make you panic about missing out. Even the checkout aisle is strategically designed. All those little impulse items right there when you're tired, decision fatigued, and just want to get out. Online shopping is even worse. Those algorithms tracking your every click, they're not there by accident. They're designed to learn what you want, sometimes before you even know you want it, and then serve it to you at the exact moment your willpower is weakest. Ever notice how after you look at one pair of shoes online, suddenly every website you visit is showing you similar shoes? That's not coincidence. That's retargeting. Your brain sees it repeatedly, starts getting familiar with it, comfortable with it, and before you know it, you've convinced yourself you need it. Then there's something psychologists call retail therapy. It's real. When you're stressed, bored, lonely, or just having a bad day, shopping can feel like the perfect fix. It gives you a sense of control when everything else feels chaotic. It's a distraction from whatever's bothering you. And for a brief moment, it works. But, and this is important, it doesn't actually solve the problem. You're still stressed after you buy that candle. You're still bored after you order that gadget. The difference is, now you're stressed and broke, or bored with more clutter taking up space in your life. There's also this fascinating phenomenon called the endowment effect. Once you own something, your brain assigns it more value than it objectively has. This is why even when you buy something on impulse and immediately regret it, you still keep it. Your brain goes into overdrive trying to justify the purchase. I mean, I did spend $30 on this blender. I should probably use it. These jeans will fit perfectly once I lose 5 pounds. That subscription service will definitely be worth it next month. Your brain becomes a professional excuse maker, doing mental gymnastics to convince you that the impulse buy was actually a smart decision. So what does all this mean for you? First, understand that this isn't about willpower. You're not weak, you're not irresponsible, you're human, and your brain is wired this way. Once you accept that, the shame goes away, and you can focus on solutions instead of self-criticism. Second, awareness is your superpower. Just knowing these triggers exist makes you less susceptible to them. It's like watching a magic trick after someone explains how it's done. Once you see the strings, the illusion loses its power. Here's your first practical step. The next time you feel the urge to buy something, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this dopamine talking, or do I actually need this? Most of the time, just creating that tiny gap between impulse and action is enough to break the cycle. Track your triggers. Notice when you're most vulnerable to impulse buying. Is it after a stressful day at work? When you're scrolling late at night? After seeing what your friends post on social media? Write it down. Patterns will emerge, and once you see them, you can start working around them. The goal isn't to stop enjoying purchases entirely. It's to make conscious choices instead of unconscious reactions. That's where freedom lives, in the space between wanting and buying, where you get to decide what truly deserves a place in your life. Now let's talk about what's happening outside your brain. The external forces designed specifically to make you buy things you don't need. And honestly, once you start noticing these tactics, you'll see them everywhere. It's kind of like learning a new word and suddenly hearing it in every conversation. Marketing isn't just about showing you products. It's psychological warfare disguised as helpful suggestions. Companies spend billions studying consumer behavior. They know which colors trigger urgency, which words spark emotion, and the exact moment you're most likely to make an impulse purchase. That red sale tag, scientifically proven to trigger urgency. Product placement in movies. Your brain subconsciously associates that product with success or happiness. And social media? The algorithms learn your habits, predict your desires, and serve content when you're most vulnerable. Watch one fitness video, and suddenly Instagram floods you with workout gear. But it doesn't feel like advertising, it feels like helpful suggestions. That's the genius of modern marketing. It's invisible. Now let's talk about social pressure. Humans want to belong, to fit in, to keep up, and marketers exploit that ruthlessly. Ads show groups of happy people using products. They use phrases like, "everyone is getting this." That's social proof. If everyone else is doing it, it must be good. My friend Jordan, usually frugal, got invited on a trip with friends. Everyone started talking about new travel gear, designer luggage, noise-canceling headphones. Jordan's old backpack worked fine, but the social pressure was real. He felt like he needed to upgrade to fit in. He bought a new backpack, $150, used it once. It's been in his closet ever since. FOMO, fear of missing out, is one of the most powerful drivers of unnecessary spending. In the age of social media, where everyone posts their best moments and newest purchases, FOMO is everywhere. 3 main marketing strategies. 1. Emotional appeals. They make you feel like buying solves a problem or boosts your status. 2. Social proof. Everyone else is buying it, so you want to follow the crowd. 3. Scarcity and urgency. Limited stock. Sale ends tonight. Your brain hates missing out. These tactics bypass logic and target emotion. Once emotion takes over, logic doesn't stand a chance. How do you fight back? Implement a cooling off period. Wait at least 24 hours before purchasing anything non-essential. Most of the time, that urge fades. The urgency marketers create is artificial. Last month, I saw a limited edition jacket online. My gut screamed, "Buy it now!" But I forced myself to wait. 24 hours later, the urgency passed, and I realized I already owned 2 similar jackets. That pause saved me $120. Practice awareness journaling. Write down every purchase you consider. Note why you were tempted, what emotions were involved, and whether it was necessary. After a week, you'll see patterns. Design your environment to reduce temptation. Unsubscribe from marketing emails. Delete shopping apps. Remove saved payment info from websites, so checkout requires conscious effort. I deleted my Amazon credit card info. Now I have to manually enter it every time. That tiny friction has stopped at least half of my impulse purchases. Recognize that you're fighting billion-dollar companies with teams of psychologists working to get you to spend. Being aware of these tactics puts you ahead. The goal isn't immunity to all marketing. That's impossible. It's recognizing when you're being influenced and making intentional choices instead of reactive ones. Once you see the invisible strings, you gain the power to cut them. Let's talk about something most people don't want to admit. Our spending habits are deeply emotional. And that's not bad. It's human. We're feeling creatures wired to seek comfort and pleasure. The problem is when buying becomes our default way of dealing with emotions. Think about your last impulse purchase. Was it really about the item or about how you were feeling in that moment? Maybe you were stressed, bored, lonely, or inadequate. Maybe you just wanted a tiny hit of happiness. I was scrolling through an online store one Saturday, avoiding stressful work. I bought ridiculously expensive headphones. I already had good ones. Why? Because I was stressed. Work was overwhelming, and I wanted that dopamine rush. The headphones arrived 3 days later. I felt guilty immediately. That's emotional spending. Our brains trick us into thinking the purchase will fix the feeling, but it never does. The stress is still there. You've just added an object and subtracted money. Retail therapy is like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. It covers the surface but doesn't heal the problem. Common emotional triggers. Stress. A terrible day makes a new gadget feel like a reward, a moment of control. Boredom. Shopping fills the void. Even scrolling through products triggers pleasure. Social comparison. Someone has something shiny, you feel inadequate. If I had that, I'd be happy too. Reward. I worked hard. I deserve this. The problem is when it becomes weekly, not occasional. It's not about the object, it's about what it represents: control, happiness, belonging, success. How do you break the cycle? Acknowledge your triggers. Keep a spending diary for 2 weeks. Not just what you bought, but how you felt before and after. I realized I was most vulnerable after stressful meetings or late at night when I couldn't sleep. Once I saw the pattern, I could prepare alternative strategies. Replace the behavior, don't just suppress it. Emotional spending gives your brain a reward. If you don't replace it, your brain will find its way back. Instead of buying when stressed, go for a walk, call a friend, journal, work out. The dopamine hit is smaller, but healthier and free. My friend Claire spent hundreds monthly on fast fashion, scrolling late at night. Once she tracked her moods, she noticed 80% of spending happened during stress or loneliness. She implemented the 24-hour rule and replaced shopping with cooking or podcasts. Within a month, her spending dropped dramatically. Use the pause and reframe method. Next time you feel the urge to buy emotionally, pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Am I trying to fix this feeling with a purchase? Is there another way to address this emotion? Usually, yes. Call someone. Write down your thoughts. Sit with the feeling without fixing it immediately. Remember, emotional spending isn't about weakness. It's about understanding your human wiring. You don't have to suppress feelings, just redirect them. As you practice this, spending shifts from reactive to intentional. You're not depriving yourself. You're empowering yourself. And that feels better than any shopping high. We've pulled back the curtain on why we buy things we don't need. The psychology, the marketing tricks, the emotional triggers. If you're feeling exposed right now, good. That's awareness. And awareness is where change begins. You're not broken. You're human, navigating a world designed to separate you from your money. Making it this far means you're ready to do something about it. Changing spending habits isn't about deprivation. It's about taking back control, choosing what you spend on instead of letting habits, emotions, and marketing choose for you. Every dollar you spend is a vote for the life you want, the values you prioritize, the future you're building. When you spend unconsciously, you're letting others cast those votes. Your action plan. This week, track every purchase. Write down what it was, why you wanted it, and how you felt afterward. No judgment, just observation. This month, implement the 24-hour rule for non-essential purchases. Create that pause between impulse and action. Moving forward, design your environment to support conscious spending. Unsubscribe from marketing emails, remove shopping apps, create friction for impulse buys. Be patient with yourself. You will slip up. You will make impulse purchases. That's okay. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Every conscious decision is a victory. Every pause before purchasing rewires your brain. Every avoided impulse buy is money building toward things that actually matter. My friend Maya said after practicing these strategies, I didn't realize freedom could feel this tangible. That's what this is really about. Not just saving money or reducing clutter. It's about freedom. The freedom to make intentional choices. The freedom to align spending with your values. Here's my challenge. Pick one strategy from this video. Maybe the 24-hour rule. Maybe tracking emotional triggers. Maybe unsubscribing from emails. Pick one and commit to it for a week. Then let me know how it went. Tell me what you noticed. What surprised you? What was harder than expected? Understanding why we buy things we don't need is just the first step. Real transformation happens when you turn that understanding into action. You've got this. One conscious choice at a time.